at that time, with a joy, with the amazing, like teenagers being invited, giving a free ticket to a rave party, you will just go into this. Without any hesitation, with the greatest joy, you would achieve that. And this is possible. Shantideva said again, there is nothing that cannot be accustomed to. You have to really do it in, One thing though, my advice, be consistent. Always, really be consistent. I would suggest, instead of you going to the caves and practice bodhicitta for, 10-20 hours every day, 10 hours every day for 1 month, and then forget the bodhicitta altogether for another year. I would rather you think about the bodhicitta every day 5 minutes, but always consistently. This will habituate yourself into the bodhicitta. It's always like this. Everything is like this. I always use this example, like alcohol. If you have never drunk alcohol, drink little bit every day, a spoon, half a spoon every day. 5-6 months, you will become perfect alcoholic. You'll be at ease and at home with a few bottles of vodka. But first time you drink a few bottles, first day you will get sick. Even the sight of the alcohol in the future, you will not even want to go near there. So likewise, really not to despise small, minute, virtuous thoughts and actions. Even the things like we have taken refuge, right? As a part of the practice of taking refuge, one commitment is not harming the others. See, now you have taken the vow of not harming the others. From the time you took refuge, it has many of you have taken refuge a long time ago, but just say that though someone who is very new, the day before yesterday we took the refuge. From the time from day before yesterday up to now, I don't think you have killed anybody. Yet. You are, and not because you are such a great practitioner, just because you are just lazy, you're lazy and you just don't have the guts to kill anybody anyway. But because you have taken the vow, even while you are sleeping, which means you are not killing anybody while you are sleeping, you are accumulating the merit. You are getting closer to the truth. And these are the things that you should not despise. So, we are talking about this, the third point, if you have attachment to yourself, then you are not a bodhisattva. So we try to cultivate the bodhicitta or the bodhicitta. And for that, I think as we talked briefly, we cultivate love, which is basically the mind wishing all sentient beings to be happy and cause of happiness. And this is by the way, this is a kind of a unique. You can't really just wish all sentient beings be happy. That's not really the love that we are talking here. Devi Ju. May they all have happiness, but also the cause. Because if it is just happiness, then it's very chaotic. Because we don't know. Everybody has a different kinds of interpretation of happiness. And someone else's happiness could be someone else's suffering too. So cause of happiness. After that, after that or simultaneously together, you also cultivate the compassion, which is basically a wish to free sentient beings from the suffering and the cause of the suffering. Compassion is praised by, of course, all the Mahayana masters, but very beautifully put or expressed by Chandrakirti. In fact, Madhyamika Avatara, in the Madhyamika Avatara, before Chandrakirti even praised the compassion before he paid homage to the compassion. Compassion is like the it is necessary in the beginning as a seed. As a seed, compassion is necessary. Compassion is also what nurtures during the path. So in the middle, bodhisattvas, they need the compassion. At the end, once you achieve the enlightenment, compassion is what is driving the force of the Buddhahood, basically. It is the machine, it's the machine of the Buddha that actually benefits all sentient beings. So, in the beginning, compassion is important. Middle, compassion is important. At the end, it is the compassion that is benefit. Compassion is so important. There are many methods to actually invoke the compassion, generate the compassion. So many. You should really try to apply all of them. We human beings, we like to we have this habit of wanting to use different methods every day. We get bored with one method. So, as I was telling you, getting used to a small dosage of compassion every day. Consistency is important. One of them, I think, one good way to generate the compassion is usually when we have compassion, our compassion is always triggered by the result. So let's say you see a beggar, or you see someone who is sick, you see someone who is going through pain. So we have compassion. Like homeless children, this kind of. So usually our compassion, this ordinary compassion that we have, is triggered by a result, what we see. But in the Mahayana path, it would be better. On top of what you already have, it would be better if you think about cause. So if you look at the sentient beings, of course, they are going through the result, the suffering so much. But even worse than that, something that one should be more concerned with is, if you look at them, they are all busy, diligently accumulating cause of the suffering, every one of them. This is even better. This should be used as sort of a, what do you call it, kindling method to invoke your compassion. If you look at, so this will, like Maitreya, no, not Maitreya, Avalokiteshvara said, if you look at the if you look at the 5 realms or 6 realms, the lower realms, like a hell realm or hungry ghost realm, if you look at them, they are so pitiful, they are so much suffering, but they are going to the cause of, they are going to the result of suffering. But if you look at the human realm, God realm, Asura realm, they are also very pitiful situation because they are collecting the cause for the suffering. So this way, if you look at this way, every sentient being are the cause of, object of compassion. Not a single thing, not a single being is should be sort of exception. All sentient beings are object of compassion. Another way, that's one way. I'm just extracted a few of these from some commentaries of Bodhicharya Avatara and some songs of the lamas of the past. There's many methods. Okay. Another method is this method is not only good for compassion but also for patience. When we look at the sentient beings, we should always not forget that they have no control. Yes, they are actually driven by another force. For instance, you get bitten by somebody this one who is beating you, who is being threatened by someone else. If he doesn't beat you, that he will kill him or something like that. So, usually what happens, if you know that your anger is not towards this person who is beating you, because you know he is powerless. He is doing whatever it takes to save himself. Your anger or impatience is towards the person who is ordering to do this. This is what you need to cultivate. When we look at the sentient beings, they have no control. They are doing it because there is another boss, the dictator, which is the emotion, their emotion. They are so much under their own emotion. They have no control over themselves. This generates the compassion, and also together this generates the patience, which is wonderful because there is no such thing as the highest way of accumulating merit is, one of them is patience, right? So that's one. So such way we try to accumulate we try to generate the bodhicitta. Okay, so we have, in order to establish the bodhicitta, because this is what we are talking here, right? If you have an attachment to your own self, or agenda of yours, your own agenda, then you are not a bodhisattva. So to counter that, what we do, we generate the bodhicitta. So to generate the bodhicitta, broadly speaking, we can have this two kinds of methods, which is There are two kinds of bodhicitta, which is aspiration bodhicitta and application bodhicitta. And for now, aspiration bodhicitta we have talked enough, but as a beginner's application bodhicitta, you can practice what we call dajin system, which is thinking that all the others and myself are equal, or exchanging that exchanging others and oneself. Basically, there is a detailed teachings on on this both bodhicitta again in the Bodhicharya Avatara. Bodhicharya Avatara, as you may have noticed, is one thing that we quoted again and again by every lineage, every masters. So, with aspiration bodhicitta and the application bodhicitta, what we do, we really generate this motivation that making others happy is our duty, is my job. Making others free from suffering is my job. And especially making others, sentient beings, rich in enlightenment is our main aim of the goal. Now, if you really want to dispel all their suffering, if you really want to give them happiness, who can do this? Not me, or certainly an ordinary person like myself. At this point, I can't do this. So who can do this? Powerful gods? No. Even the Brahmas and Indras and Agnis, these great gods and demigods, they themselves are under the power of their own anger, jealousy, pride, and all of that. There's many, many stories like this. Can the arhats do it? No, because arhats, as we discussed yesterday, they are also limited with a lot of, enlightened qualities. Right? They don't have certain omniscience, they don't have certain skills. So, there's only one state or a being who can actually achieve such kind of an important and difficult task. And that is the Buddha. So therefore, I have to become Buddha. For the sake of all sentient beings, I must attain enlightenment. This basically is what we call aspiration bodhicitta. Once again, it is the bodhicitta that will give you the result, Buddha, fully enlightened state. Only through the bodhicitta you can attain the state of the Buddha. So, but all of this again, I'll repeat, not easy because of our habitual pattern. We will always fall into our old habit again and again. So, also it is believed that bodhisattvas will also face lots of obstacles. So what do? We take refuge. We pray to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. we accumulate merit, we try to purify the defilements. So, if you categorize within our own ability, actually just practicing mainly just putting so much time and energy in aspiration bodhicitta and trying really hard to do or accumulate 10 virtuous actions as much as possible. Abandon 10 non-virtuous actions as much as possible. Dedicating whatever the virtuous action you have accumulated. Also, get used to the habit of rejoicing others' virtuous deeds. These are especially good for beginners and also lay bodhisattvas. So the beginners, I'm trying to remember this quotation from the sutra where Buddha actually said this to a king who wanted to take the bodhisattva vow. This is what he said. Okay, like you, king, you have a lot of things to do. You have to look after your country, your subjects, you have to look at all you have so much things to do. So for you, aspiration bodhicitta, trying to accumulate virtuous action as much as possible, abandon the non-virtuous action as much as possible, dedicate the merit, and learn to rejoice others' good deeds. This is appropriate or adequate. It's good. It's more than enough. Actually, it's more like it's not really looking down at this. It's actually this is what you should do for someone like a king. In this case, a business person or something like that. Then, for those who can actually, those who have time, those who are more matured, those who are used to the infinite plan and the vision of the bodhicitta or the bodhisattva, then maybe what they can do is learn to learn to generate the confidence. This is the second type of practice. Generating the confidence. Never thinking that enlightening all sentient beings is not my thing. It is such a difficult task. It is an endless task. How can someone like myself do this? Such kind of, cowardly thinking, which is basically a type of a laziness. So in order to counter that, generating the confidence that yes, I can do it. I will do it alone. trying to generate that kind of courageous mentality